Are fighting games designed exclusively for the hardcore audience?
I mean, yes, kind of, but also no. The hardcore FGC thinks that fighting games are made for them, but they never actually are. They are inevitably balanced for them, but the creation of new fighting games is usually geared toward people who don't play fighting games trying to drag them in. In fact, that's why we have this cycle of fighting game whining whenever a new game comes out. No one likes Strive because it's dumbed down compared to Xrd, and when Xrd came out, no one liked Xrd because it was dumbed down compared to Plus R. And when Accent Core came out, no one liked it because it was dumbed down, so on and so forth. The same thing goes for Marvel 2 to Marvel 1. Everyone hated Street Fighter V when it came out and wanted it to be more like Street Fighter 4, but everyone hated Street Fighter 4 when it came out and wanted it to be more like Street Fighter 3. Everyone hated Street Fighter 3 when it came out and said that it totally destroyed what Street Fighter 2 had made. And each and every one of these new iterations were more geared toward the mainstream audience than the last. Like, EX moves weren't just created to add more utility to the game, they were created to have an almost super that people who couldn't do a super input could do. Street Fighter 3's Universal Overheads was a way to simplify the jump-in game. Each new iteration of a game has smarter input puffers so that people drop their motions less. Longer input windows. Like, fighting games are always thinking about ways to reach out to the more mainstream audience and even the disabled audience. And the hardcore fighting game crowd always complains about it, but it always works. Just look at Strive compared to Xrd. Strive sold many times better than Xrd did. It's the best-selling Guilty Gear to date, and people will argue that that's because Arc Sys now is more well-known because of Dragon Ball FighterZ. But most mainstream gamers still have no idea what Arc Sys is, and it fits a pattern that was established with Xrd and Plus R and so on and so forth. Every iteration caters to the mainstream a little bit more, and every iteration sells better. And the hardcore crowd doesn't stop playing. So if developers are thinking so much about the mainstream audience, why aren't there more accessibility options? Well, number one, devs in all genres are bad at developing accessibility options, especially in Japan. We have some breakthroughs of accessibility like The Last of Us 2, but look at Nintendo games that still don't have basic button remap functions. And accessibility options really have to be thought of as development starts, or else they become really hard to program into the game. And the second reason? Fighting games have super low budgets. Like, even the biggest AAA fighting games don't have budgets anywhere near games in other genres. And when you have a low budget and something needs to be cut, accessibility options are usually the first to go. And it fucking sucks.